Hafizur Rahman, Chairman for the Technical Education Board, and honorable speakers of this session, Dr. India Asgar, Ali Asgar, former professor, Bangladesh University of Engineering and Technology, and now East West University in Dhaka. Now we have got also a speaker, Dr. Ahmad Rifandi from Bandung State Polytechnic Institute in Indonesia, and Dr. Indi Shah is us. So we have got 4 speakers today. Professor Dr. Ali Asgar. Professor Dr. Ali Asgar.
Technology and vocational education for development. But it will take almost an hour. If I go through the written paper, I will skip most of the part. But I will have a free talk, free random walk, touching the topics. And I read out some part of it, and then we have questions and we will answer accordingly. Technological and vocational education for development. It is the introductory part. The nature and the role of technical and vocational education as an integral part of overall system of education is explained. I do not take technical education separated from the total system. It should be part of the system implemented. 3 concepts of technology, namely the Pythagorean concept, the production function concept, and the system concept of technology are compared. Now, we have to understand actually what is the meaning of technology, utilized education, and liberal education. Education can be taken into 3 parts. Everybody, for his profession, takes specialized knowledge. It may be in the physical aspect, it may be in the agricultural aspect, it may be any other field. But he is professional. For professional task, he needs specialized stuff. If you are a scientist, if you are a writer, every job there is a specialized part. But then, on nature and specialized knowledge has become so narrow and so distinct from other subjects that one specialist cannot communicate with another one. There is more formal communication between even the experts, not to speak of the general public. So, education has 3 aspects. Every individual person taking education should have 3 parts. One is professional education. It may be literature, it may be science, it may be technology, whatever it is, in my opinion. And there is general education, which will make him able to understand other fields. There is another aspect of education which can integrate the different specialized field. And there is another aspect which is called liberal education, which makes personality, way of thinking in modern way, logical thinking, rational thinking, humanitarian thinking. These are not the integration of some of the basis of subject, but on the basis of developing the personality. The variety of answers, then I have put a question. I will explain this Pythagorean concept, production function concept, and the concept of technology and system concept. Then we have to answer the question, what is technology? You can define many people in different way. Difference has also the 2-way stick between science and technology. That relation between science and technology. I will develop that aspect. Vocational education is expected to do more than train an individual for a given occupation by providing the person concerned with the necessary skill. It should also, in conjunction with general education, provide for understanding, judgment, self-expression, adaptation to varying environment as recommended by UNESCO. The cultural content of technical and vocational education should not be at such a level that the inevitable specialization in technology, in technical and vocational education do not stifle broader interest. But in specialization, তেমন হওয়া উচিত না যাতে তারা অন্য ফিল্ডে তার ইন্টারেস্ট সেটা একেবারে বন্ধ করে দেয়। এরকম হওয়া উচিত না, এটা ইউনেস্কোর রেকমেন্ডেশন। টেকনোলজি is presented as a powerful means, not an end in itself. টেকনোলজি একটা মিনস, একটা অ্যাটিং করার জন্য, ডেভেলপমেন্ট হোক, এডুকেশন হোক, বেটার লাইফ হোক, is a means, but it's not the goal. The principle of complementary is explained and is argued that there should be no clear boundary between general and technical education. This is a very important point. You know, there is a controversy about true culture. One is called scientific and technological culture, other is called humanitarian culture, humanitarian subjects. And they never meet each other, they never talk to each other on the basis of their topics. They can talk about other things, but they cannot communicate their field about the field of specialization with another group. For the general, but there should not be such. Like this is a, my point is, there should be no clear boundary between general and technical education, while the general education aims at cultivating the mind to harmonize it with the material world. Material world সঙ্গে একটা আমার চিন্তাগুলো আমরা আশাকে হারমোনাইজ করার জন্য there are two ways. The technical education aims at changing the material world to suit the aspiration of the mind, or asking for certain things. You want to have fresh water to drink. This is aspiration. Now you can discover the source of water. You can purify water for drinking. These are technical aspects. But humanitarian aspects, humanitarian education trains the mind to be consistent with the material world. So we have a material world with material needs and material aspirations, good house, good living condition, good communication, good medicine, good food. This is our desire. But to attain that, you can be professional doing that. So you develop your technique, your knowledge, your inventiveness in order to meet your demand. So this is changing the environment around you to suit your desire. And on the other hand, a humanitarian subject will try to change your mind to cope with the reality. If there is a crisis, then how you change your mind, how do you cooperate with other people, how to help people, how to understand the crisis. So this is the humanitarian aspect. So the goal is to have a harmonization between the demand and the reality, real world. So in simple terms, an engineer, a scientist will try to change the environment which can suit our personal aim, personal goal. And humanitarian people will change our mind to put up with how to share things, how to help other people, because he is not changing the environment, he is changing his mind, his attitude, his demand to cope with the realities. So this is one aspect. The fact that for a long time now, what is industrial revolution? You know, I have a clear interpretation of this. We talk about revolution in development or revolution in development projects. You know that there are three revolutions have occurred. One is agricultural revolution, other is mechanical and chemical, this sort of changes. So this is your engineering production system. This was another revolution, and in the 20th century we have the information revolution. So we come to how revolution takes place. Now, you know, initially people used to have literature for the sake of pleasure and changing the mind, and scientists wanted to know the laws of nature. So they worked with fundamental laws, and technology was an empirical process. By trial and error, they found out solution of problems, physical problems. So there was a distinction between scientific problem. Scientific problem was to understand nature, understand the truth, discover the truth of nature, not to solve my personal day-to-day problem or national problem or problem of economics. So this used to be done by technicians, engineers, without much of understanding of the nature. But when both develop, when technology develop and when science develop, so there are a superposition. There is superposition. Science could then help technology, and technology could help science, and this caused an accelerated growth of both, and that is called industrial revolution. You know, industrial revolution in 1750 with a steam engine. It started in England, and then it spread out to Germany, France, and then Russia, and then later on China, and we are also getting the successes. So this revolution occurs when the scientific answer to natural laws can help us to change our technology. For example, you know, the steam engine was aviscared. They did not know thermodynamics, but in France there is a lot of scientists who develop efficiency of thermodynamics, and then they validity theory of gases, then they found out the statistical mechanics. So these are mathematical theories which have made it possible to have more efficient engine and use alternative energy. How to do things? You know, transistor when it first developed, it was by empirical method, communicating. But later on, when the semiconductor physics developed, they know how to develop a crystal in a way that can help us communication. And so semiconductor integrated circuit, large scale integrated circuit, very large scale integrated circuit. You know, the electric circuit that you can draw in a football field can be put down on the nail and reduced such a way because you work in the atomic scale. And in Harvard University, there was a session to understand technology of the modern age. They named it molecular engineering. You work at a molecular level, not by taking a lump matter, changing it by heating it or bending it. So you used to do the mechanical way. But now we have to go to the fundamental structure of the matter, atomic scale, and with their combination. So they call it molecular engineering. And that is what happens in semiconductors. You arrange the atoms within the crystal in a way, introduce defects in a calculated way, and therefore you get an enormous gain. I give an example. The laptop that we use has a capacity and efficiency of calculations such that if we want it with an old-fashioned computer, half system, electronics, then you would need the whole of the river, Buriganga, to cool it down. And it would occupy the whole building. If you get a more efficient computer of these today, built by old technology. Old technology means by using half system. But transistor integrated circuit has made it so cheap and so small in size, and that means that you have to use the most recent knowledge. And if you look back to technology, all the means that we grow, we'll find that older the technology, it is based on empirical knowledge. But the newer the technology, it is based on science. So science and technology, they were separate way of proceeding, but they are now overlapping both. And you see, the whole development process goes by integration of different specialists. And this integration, if it is used properly, then it's called the innovation cycle. Innovation cycle means pure research, fundamental research, and then you get the apply that knowledge to change the environment. So it is applied aspect, applied research. Then you get small models done. Small models done to see how it works, and then you go for industry, production function, and then this production product has to be sold out in the market. So you go for marketing. So basic research, applied research, modeling, experiment, industrialization, and marketing. So these are the different stages of development. So when we are talking about development, if the economists only think about investment and profit and benefit, but don't know what technology you have to use to produce the goods, there is no good. If I do a fundamental research to develop material, but I don't have the scope to use it to make systems, and if they does not go to industrial production, and industrial products are not in the market to sell, get the money, and put the part of the benefit in the basic research again. And basic research, the new results will then change the technology, and technology will change the industries, and industries in this turn will make money. So I call it screw model. It's my model, screw model of development. Development is not moving in the same plane. If you move a screw, as it rotates, it goes forward. Because every time it doesn't move in the same plane. The plane is changing. So this is one important aspect. Time is very short, so I have to skip. What is technology? There are many definitions. I have collected definitions. Technology has been so complex and changing so fast that there is no simple way of defining it. We can rather picture the technology in terms of performance. Thus, we can say that technology is what technology does. There are many ways that we can answer this question. Technology is sum total of all the human knowledge and techniques transform resources for purpose of meeting human needs. This is one way for using your knowledge, practical knowledge and scientific knowledge to change the environment and get your requirement. Technology is sum total of human knowledge and techniques transform resources for the purpose of meeting human needs. Or it can be defined as what technology is know-how. Technology is know-how and the science is know-why. This was used to define the difference between science and technology. Science talks about why it happens, cause, and how it happens, that is the part of technology. But this difference has been removed quite a lot, that I will talk about. Technology makes things work better. Technology represents means which can control and modify the natural environment. Technology is the practical application of natural laws discovered by science. It is the application of knowledge and knowledge application. It is engine of change. So we can talk about different characteristics of technology. Technology is the engine for change. That is really a good job. But then using the natural laws that has been discovered, that is done by science. And you know there are economists to sell your product, there are planners to do that. So for the innovation cycle has to be completed by specialized persons, by generally accommodating knowledge and also liberal knowledge, making a human being. Now, interestingly, if we want to understand technology, you have to have a concept. There are three types of concept. Pythagorean concept means the discovery. This discrete defined discovery, the steam engine is the discovery. Or you say transistor is the discovery. So these are discrete inventions. So this is one way of understanding technology. The other way is called production function. What are the components needed for productivity? You need man, human power, you need knowledge or data or information, you need instruments, machines and tools, these are the components. You need raw materials, you need time, you need energy. So these are different components, they are called elements of production function, and they combine in a way to give the output, which we call the product. Now, every aspect of these elements can become a research topic. Material science, development of new material is a vast field. You know, recently there have been nanotechnology, you have heard of that technology, high difference superconductors, new magnetic materials. So these are the new materials that have been developed in order to be applied for new technology. So people are more, there are two types of people. One sort of people who are investigating the laws, who are developing, inventing techniques, and so these are intellectual part, and the other part is the workers who does the job. But they together constitute the element called people. And you know, to do that you have to do a machine. New machines have been discovered. For example, the vacuum technique. Unless vacuum technique was developed, transistor would not have been developed because you need pure environment for that. Production of high temperature furnaces or automobile. So this sort of telescope, microscope, particle accelerator, computer. So these are the practical inventions that went on. And so you do that. And we talk about energy, the alternative energy. We are getting rid of coal, gas and petrol. We are getting exhausted. So we are looking for solar energy. Solar energy is so abundant but so dilute that it is very expensive to use solar energy for day-to-day. But it is now developed in such a way that solar energy can compete. And it is called renewable energy. And those sources which are getting vanished, they are non-renewable energy. So there is a vast field of research on energy. Okay, time is short. I will put it in a simple way that there are three types of, which is called production function, I say, and there is system, and there is system view. Whole thing is a system. The consumer, the producer, the people working in the market, and who are collecting raw material. The whole thing makes a system.
Actually, we are running out of time, so I will be very brief. Within 10 minutes, I'll finish my presentation. The quality assurance in Tibet, the strategies for monitoring, is the subject of my topic here. Actually, quality means the standard or the degree of excellence of something. We are talking about the Tibet, critical education and training. What is quality assurance? The high quality Tibet leads to a higher status and improved attractiveness of Tibet. Therefore, the standards of quality assurance and quality control should be applied to Tibet. And the ultimate contribution of this Tibet should be better productivity, better employment, and better contribution to the economy of the country. Now, I will just focus on national skills quality assurance system. The different countries have adopted differently these national skills quality assurance system. In our country, we have adopted this thing in 2011 through the National Skill Development Policy. This national skills quality assurance defines in our country and quality as when a product or service meets the needs of the client. Here, what is the product? Product is our students, the graduated students for the Tibet system, and the clients in the industry. So the matching of their need, their requirement with our supply is the quality assurance. National Skills Quality Assurance System will ensure the graduates of training organization, workplace assessment program, apprenticeship program, and other achievement pathways covered by the National Skill Development System, and to develop their skills, attitude, knowledge to meet the needs of the industry, employer, and the community. Here, community is mentioned because the Tibet graduates should be absorbed in the community, in some cases in the self-employment also. Upgrading of the quality existing in our Tibet system. In Bangladesh, actually we are operating this Tibet system long since before the actually the Second World War. We have started in 1940. Our first training centers under BMET was started in 1942. The required skill, knowledge and attitude actually are not fixed forever. It will change over time as the new knowledge is developed and skill requirement changes as per the demand of the industry. As a result, this National Skill Quality Assurance System is designed to be a cycle of continuous improvement. The objective of Skills Quality Assurance System is to improve the quality of skill development in Bangladesh, introduce new national quality standards, ensure nationally consistent and high quality training and assessment services for the learners. There are several steps to implement these quality assurance systems. In our policy, we have mentioned 7 stages to implement these things. Number 1 is the registration of public, private, all the training providers and development of nationally recognized units of competency, that is skill standard. Third one is the accreditation of learning and assessment program. The fourth one is auditing of the training providers. Fifth one is the validation of the assessment tools. Sixth one is the development and publication of quality procedures and manuals. And the seventh one is the effective implementation of the total program. And a quality assurance system covers the purview in Tibet in graduates, teachers, training courses, workplaces, training organizations, and the industry. These 6 paradigms are under the purview of the Tibet quality assurance. Quality assurance in assessment and certification. We targeted structured assessment system, which was initially on the traditional basis. Now we have adapted the structured assessment system, and we are targeting the mutual recognition of certification with other countries and international accreditation of our certificates. Strategic plan for monitoring of the training system. Under this quality assurance system, we have developed some strategic plan for the monitoring. These are mainly the regular assessment of the training needs. We have to identify the training needs of the industry and the employer, and accordingly, this training system will be developed. And regularly, we have to update training program, curriculum, equipment upgrading, teacher standard, and also industry linkage. In this regard, actually, we have adopted 2 types of monitoring. One is external monitoring, and another one is internal monitoring. In the external monitoring, involvement of external evaluators, which may comprise of the experts from industry, Tibet civil society, academician, external Tibet providers, and other trainers. They will be involved in the training system to improve the standard. And in internal monitoring, the involvement of evaluators comprise of self-evaluators within the premises, that is head of the institutions, assessors from the department, trainers, and also from the trainees. They can also suggest for some improvement of this training standard. For this quality assurance, 3 stages are there. One is academic, second one is logistics, and third one is the promotional. In the academic side, actually we are just observing on the basis of the intake, dropout, pass rate, and employment rate. These 4 indicators are set as the milestones for the development of the training standard. Why the dropouts are there, why the pass rate is low, why the employment is low, because our achievement will be the 100% satisfaction with the academic affairs, that the number of enrollment should continue as up to the employment of after their graduation. Quality assurance in the methodology of training. We targeted to improve the training environment, training methodology, and linkage with the industry, more linkage with the industry. In that regard, it is emphasized and encouraged to organize conferences, e-monitoring system, because from the headquarters we can monitor these training standards of the institutions, arrangement of skill competition, job fair, or technology fair. In improving the training quality, these cycles we follow, these training, teaching behavior, teaching techniques, and finally the improvement of the teaching environment. In the improvement of teaching techniques, the new techniques are being applied in the pedagogical approach, that is interactive lessons, group work, participatory works, and video conferencing, brainstorming, and use of multimedia, animation, and smart boards in the classroom. In the total monitoring and evaluation system, we have to have the checklist, that is setting some formats and regular assessment on the basis of that checklist. Second one is the visits and observations in the training institutions and also in the departments on overall development of these categories like curriculum development, equipment development, and teachers training. And finally, there is reporting back to the headquarters and evaluation on the basis of that reporting. And we have to achieve the win-win-win situation for the effective event system and improved training environment and successful training institutions. BMET, Bureau of Manpower Employment and Training, in which department I belong to, actually we have adopted 25 points development program to achieve this target of the quality assurance in our national skill development policy. And in this 25-point strategy, we have adopted these things what I mentioned in the presentation. Thank you very much. These are our presentation from me. Any question or answer?
Now we have the next presenter, Dr. Vishal Mazumdar. Dr. Vishal Mazumdar has over 25 years of experience in the field of technical and vocational education.
National Qualification Framework, a new approach of quality assurance through dual certification. You see here in the picture, global competitiveness, social integration, and skillful adaptive are integrated here with green technology. Welcome everyone. Now we want to say that the trends of workforce recruitment strategies change in the world, whole world. First of all, recruitment rules was like that academic qualification, basis on academic qualification the recruitment is going on, and in this case better theoretical concept is found but poor practitioner, they are poor practitioner. For skill certification without minimum academic qualification, industrialists when recruit workforce, then they are good practitioners but poor at adapting to new environment. In this case, they combine academic qualification and skill qualification certification, that means degree, diploma plus national skill certificate. If this combination have done, then workforce ready, work ready, flexible workforce can be found for the industry. But it is not end. After some days, it is found that academic qualification and skill certification plus the continuous skill level upgradation is required for sustainable work ready flexible workforce. So these stages should be incorporated in the national qualification framework. For this is you see the traditional institutes, the DT, training organization, BMET, and other 23 ministries are working in Bangladesh, and for after implementing NTBQF with BTEB, ISC and NSDC is included, and they are the included by employers' involvement. And when employers are involved here, then the demand side is fulfilled. Then for freezing and controlling, IC and BTEB are worked, and the supply side is process and supply is done by the Tibet providers. This is our qualification framework for Bangladesh. We have 6 levels from NTBQF level 1 to NTBQF level 6, and diploma engineering course is set in the level of 6, but yet we have not go in diploma engineering level. That's why in 2016 our chairman directed us to incorporate diploma engineering traditional course, combine diploma engineering traditional course with the NTBQF. This is a challenge, and from different point they are asking us to upgradation the level up to diploma level 6. As the NSDP 2011 directed us for incorporate NTBQF to level 6, and as Article 5.6 and 5.7 of NSDP suggested to introduce dual certification, as the authority is facing challenge to transform the whole system to NTBQF. In many countries, they just transform their qualification framework from the traditional education to qualification framework. But in our country, it is a challenge to transformation. Dual certification can one of the way to quality assurance by embedding course accreditation document and ensuring quality assurance manual for registering institute, implementing performance-based learning and competency-based assessment without annoying the existing living inputs. You know, our living inputs means our students, our professional organizations, our teachers, our administrators. They are somehow resist the new innovation. That's why, without annoying the living inputs, we try to introduce NTBQF. So BTB translated and tuned the existing diploma engineering course of computer technology at a pilot project up to NTBQF level 6, and prepared competency standard course accreditation document involving NSDC and ISC. Started piloting from current session in 15 Polytechnic Institutes for Computer Technology. To occupation of existing diploma in computer engineering course are translated and tuned to NTBQF so that a student can achieve dual certificate both for academic qualification as well as the skill qualification simultaneously from Polytechnic Institute. The subject which is not directly related with any occupation or have no practical classes suggested to align in modular form, and NTBQF level and competencies of existing occupation in IT sector are combined, rearranged, re-sequenced and reclustered for aligning with diploma in engineering. So all the SO, that means general objectives and specific objectives of technology related subject are translated and tuned to unit of competency, competency standard and performance criteria so that it can be assessed in competency based training and assessment mode. Here is the, after extensive analysis of the whole diploma engineering courses, we found 25 standard and 12 occupation, and the occupations are computer operation, IT support, graphic design, web design, PCB making, PCB design, surveillance security system, embedded system development, PLC automation, database development, system network and administration, and apps development and game development, like this. You see, this was our 6th level, and for this 6th level, before translating, we have 3 occupation, and the levels are here. That is our IT support, graphic design and web design. But after translating the course, we found 12 occupation like this in different level, and we are setting the courses and the occupation in this way. Computer operation have 2 levels, and IT support starts level from 2, and graphic design start level 3, and web design start in level 4. It has different level, and in level 6 the higher courses are set. And also two unit of competency standard also proposed to develop. Yet we have not developed the last stages. We are piloting it to management and supervisory level competencies standard will be developed, where 6 unit of competency will be incorporated. Now, the way I have shown it here, NTPQF level 1 and NTPQF level 2 for first semester and second semester, the occupation's name is computer operation, and for NTPQF level 1, the unit of competencies are operate a personal computer, type text and documents in English. This is the unit of competency. I will not go to the whole systems, and this is NTPQF level 2 for computer operation, create database and tables and customize settings, create forms like this. And for NTPQF level 2, second semester, the occupation is IT support, and the competencies unit are like this. And for graphic design, competencies standard unit of competency are set like this. Now, for different subject, we have 6 subject, 7 subject in first semester, and against this subject we incorporate the unit of competency. Computer application is the subject in diploma engineering, but computer operation is the occupation, so we incorporate the unit of competency against the computer application and setting like this. So you see, this is our proposal. Due to it is implementing only for computer technology. The other technology also related with the whole subject and courses. So life skill development, physical education and life skill development is a common subject. We cannot incorporate it in diploma engineering course, but we propose some unit of competency like practice physical exercise, show skill on games and sports, apply hygiene and safety practice in personal life, apply moral and ethical religious attributes, show skill to protect yourself mentally and physically from terrorism. We propose to incorporate this unit of competency against each subject, but we only incorporate this unit of competency only for the practical subject which have directly related with the NTPQF occupation. So this is the way we have developed our competency standard. Now, general issue and challenge to translate and implement the system. Select a suitable type of course format. This is the issue. Then what way of setting competencies and occupation against traditional technical subjects. Clustering the competencies for occupation against the traditional subject. And there are some features here. It will be uploaded to our website. If you want to say, you can see. Change in existing courses. Existing new diploma engineering courses structure have slightly modified without changing the original feature and objectives. Existing occupation like graphic design have 5 levels, but after tuning it was accommodated in 2 levels, incorporating and covering all existing competencies in graphic design occupation. The competencies are reclustered for different levels of each occupation. Existing competencies of each competency standard have been incorporated against the related subject, and new demand competencies are appended according to the suggestion of competency standard development team. And we have made some change in diploma engineering courses. In 7th semester, we have option to take one subject from the clustered subject of clusters, and we have changed in 8 semesters industrial attachment, and now delivery system and assessment procedure, non-occupation theory, non-occupational theory and practical subject is in traditional way. We will assess delivery, but occupational related subject in performance-based learning mode. Assessment system is theory part are as usual, and practical part will be assessed by CBT and A mode. This is the option. Second option is both theory and practical assessment in traditional way and separate text for anti-BQF assessment in CBT and A system. And third option was complete assessment in CBT and A mode. Here we adopted both theory and practical assessment in traditional way and separate test for anti-BQF assessment in CBT and A system. And for acquiring a diploma in engineering or its equivalent certificate, one must be certified in all occupation up to level 4, at least in 3 occupation up to level 5, and at least 2 occupation up to level 6, including statement of achievement in all management and supervisory competencies. But after consultation with the others, we make flexible, and this is the now we are implementing this way. Student of diploma in computer technology will be certified at least one level of an occupation per semester and advised to complete all the available level of selected occupation. One can be certified to other occupations. The benefit of this certification will be given to all certified students through replacing the achieved traditional grade by A+ for the occupational related subjects. And already we certified 172 students in different occupation of computer technology for first semester under piloting in 15 polytechnic institutes. Immediate challenges are implement and address more than 500 centers assess more than 500 centers simultaneously, motivate as well as train more than 1,000 teachers for the new system, determining the assessment fee and support system for assessment, certify more than 1,000 teachers to both skills and CBT and A4 qualification, trained and certify more than 400 assessors from different geographical area. Reformation of the course structure, rearrange, recluster, renaming and combining the subject and competencies, and changing or incorporating the system in Providan 2016. This is the recommendation. Translate and tune other courses, basic trade to diploma engineering mentioned in Article 5.6 and 5.7 of NSDP 2011 for assuring quality in Tibet, and promote anti-BQF beside traditional Tibet system based on anti-BQF. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shahlo, for your long and history presentation. Now we invite our last speaker, Dr. Mohammad Rikhandi. So Dr. Ahmad Rikhandi has over 30 years of experience in polytechnic education in Indonesia. He has received, Dr. Ahmad Rikhandi has received his PhD in educational management from Indonesia University of Education. He has master's degree in industrial engineering and management and bachelor's degree in chemical engineering. Dr. Rikhandi has been very instrumental and involved in developing Indonesian qualification framework and also recognition of prior learning. I request Dr. Ahmad Rikhandi to present his paper.
Indonesian qualification framework to you. Therefore, I would like to thanks to Dr. Horader who honestly invite me to share, to present my experience here. My topic is Indonesian qualification framework and graduate competence of Diploma 3 vocational education of Polytechnic Indonesia. What is Diploma 3? When we see in this figure, Diploma 3 is equivalent to the level 5 of Indonesian qualification framework. Who expected to be responsible for our work and also assigned of teamwork performance. In the left side, there's the academic oriented, and in the middle is professional and vocational oriented from day one until doctoral degree. We have different systems in Indonesia for vocational. We didn't follow the term of vocational because we offer doctoral degree in Polytechnic, but not now. Now it's only until master degree in Polytechnic education. There are several Polytechnic offer the master degree in Indonesia. Now I would like to introduce my country. Indonesia is a big country with the population more than 250 million and 17 islands and various of ethnic more than 1,000 ethnic in Indonesia. So I would like to the number of higher education institutes in Indonesia is approximately 4,500 higher education, consists of 8% government or public university, public higher education, and 82% is private higher education, and 235 polytechnic, and only 44 polytechnic is state polytechnic, split out Indonesia from west to east. We established polytechnics in 1973, piloting polytechnic in Bandung and Solo, with just only in manufacturing and civil engineering. Then in 2005, we established by our budget 11 polytechnic, and now become 44 polytechnic operated by government. The first concept of polytechnic education in Indonesia is like this. The polytechnic graduate should be an implementer from research and design, become production process and production control. Now what is qualification framework and what is benefit of qualification, national qualification framework? Here I illustrated qualification framework is a measuring instrument. It's like measuring instrument to measure the land, to measure the weight. What we measure here is the human resources. Qualification framework is instrument for development and classification of qualification according to set of criteria for level of learning achievement or learning outcome. Pathway for career development, learning outcome acquired by a career learner has to be considered equivalent regardless of how, when, and where the learning has occurred. It can be through education, it can be vocational professional certification, it can be individual experience, it can be also occupational pathway. We know that one of our ministry, Mrs. Susi Pujastuti, is our minister for fisheries and marine. He got the award of Marine Award. He graded only for primary education. And now he got the doctoral honoris causa from one university in Indonesia. This is what I say, pathway or career can be achieved through various of ways. What we did in Indonesia with this qualification framework. Qualification framework to become an instrument to put in order of the various qualifications based on learning outcome. Sometimes in a university, the study program is qualified as bachelor, but in other university, they be qualified as master degree. Why? Because we don't have an instrument to measure what is the learning outcome of this qualification. Therefore, we redesign, reorganize the learning outcome of all study program, similar study program in Indonesia. It will be expected to become the picture like in the right side. Now it's in, I think this is the story of NKF in the world. Benefit of establishing NKF is provide common template of learning outcome, makes learning outcome based academic recognition, better system-wide coordination, help achieve balance between institutional autonomy, provide umbrella framework for quality assurance, make all type of learning formal, non-formal, and informally comparable, recognizable, and transferable. This is important. Now we develop also recognition of prior learning. We implement since this year. Now I would like to show also what is the position of Indonesia in the Global Competitiveness Index. We see Indonesia is in the 63, is lower than our neighbor in ASEAN, Malaysia, Philippines. Even in the overall index is 41. But you see the Brunei Darussalam is lower. Where is in Bangladesh? Bangladesh is in the rank of 187 of the total 138. But don't worry, because many consultants from Bangladesh work in Indonesia to develop higher education in Indonesia. One of them is Dr. Fahlan. Now what?
What is the basis of this ranking?
Okay.
What is the basis of this ranking? How do you conclude?
This is a polytechnic. This is the all polytechnic in Indonesia. Therefore, I would like to.
In the previous slide.
Oh, in previous slide.
This is the next. What is the source
Oh,
of
this is the global competitiveness index based on World Economic Forum. You can see the global competitiveness index in the World Economic Forum. One of this dimension is higher education and training. This source of this is from the global competitiveness index 2015 and 2016. Now let us talk about my research. Now what I have to show with you is how to measure the achievement of the graduates in accordance with Indonesian qualification framework, and also how to distinguish between academic-oriented higher education and vocational-oriented higher education. I choose two polytechnic for a sample, as a sample, Post Polytechnic is a small polytechnic built by the Swiss government with the specific skill in manufacturing, where the teacher also trained in Switzerland, and also this polytechnic is equipped with sophisticated equipment. And the second one, polytechnic is a big polytechnic with many study programs built by the government and assisted also by Swiss government, Swiss expert. But the teacher come from many graduates. Sometimes also come from the university, fresh graduates, they come to this polytechnic. Therefore, I would like to know how to how to distinguish between these two polytechnics. Result of my research show that quality of learning in Volban is the second polytechnic built by the government, positively and significantly improved by a professional lecturer. And the other side, in Volban, quality of learning in Volban positively and significantly improved by learning facilities. What does this mean? Learning process in Volban is more professionally oriented than in Volban. Why? Yeah, because you see, the learning outcome in Volban positively, significantly improved by learning facilities. What does it mean? The graduate believe that graduate competence built by experience in practical activities. And the other side, the graduate believe that graduate competence built by the professionalism of the teacher. It is theory. This is the difference between vocational education and academic orientation. We know that the vocational education based on practice, doing, experience, and imitation, observation, and also learn procedural knowledge, not conceptual knowledge. In other side, academic stream based on theory, reason, and also textbook in the classroom. The second research is the level of graduate competence. Level of graduate competence of the diploma 3 Volban and Volban is almost achieved the short cycle in the descriptor or equivalent to level 5 of Indonesian qualification framework. This is my hour to show to you. This is all end of my speech. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmad Rifandi, for your very resourceful presentation. In times, we are sorry that we couldn't give you enough time. We want to learn from Idrisha, of course. Now, I think we have completed the presentation. Now, I will request Dr. Mustafizur Rahman. Excuse me, sorry. If you have any question, could you please ask one by one? We will gather all the questions first. I think one question from one person. Then our resource persons will answer this question. Please. And no question, I think, because of prayer, they want to shortcut. But the presentation was very much clear, I think, yeah, very much clear. So thank you for asking no questions. Now I would request the chairman, VTEB.
Thank you the dignitaries and the participants from the abroad and from Bangladesh. Actually, we are running out of time, and we have started our deliberation from 12:30 or 11:30 possibly 11:30. So actually, there are four presenters. They have presented their papers. Actually, the main focus was quality assurance thing like this. How we can assure our quality of the graduates, the learning institutions or the Tibetan institutions, something like this. So from the discussion, we got sufficient information how we can maintain the quality and how we can assure the quality in Tibetan institutions. We can think something differently as well. Is divinity and skills can be separated? Sometimes efforts are taken something like this. The skills should be separated and divinity should be separated. I think skills is the need of the day. The graduates should be skills specific, should have specific skills. But I think only the psychomotor skill is not enough. Definitely psychomotor skills, in addition to cognitive and as well as effective domain is also needed. So we call it soft skill and as well as the practical skills, something like this. And another thing I think we have to keep in mind or that mutual recognition of certificates. Mutual recognition of certificates within the country and as well as outside the country. Say the certificate offered by the Bangladesh Technical Education Board, is it other graduates for migration and other works. And we are going to establish in this with accrediting body around the Bangladesh for better switching of our graduates and to make them to enter into the job market. So I'd like to thank the every delegates that you have given your time, and I hope that you have enjoyed the delivery. Thank you very much. Hope to meet you again. Thank you.
Now our Honorable Chairman, Bangladesh Technical Education Board, Dr. Mustafizur Rahman, will present a gift to Professor Dr. Ali Asghar.
Animation qualification promote team. Therefore, I would like to thanks to Dr. Hollander who honestly invite me to share to present my experience here. My topic is Indonesian qualification framework and graduate competence of Diploma 3 vocational education of Polytechnic Indonesia. What is Diploma 3? When we see in this figure, Diploma 3 is equivalent to the level 5 of Indonesian qualification framework. Who expected to be responsible for our work and also excited of teamwork performance. In the left side, there's the academic oriented, and in the middle is professional and vocational oriented from day one until doctoral degree. We have different systems in Indonesia for vocational. We didn't follow the term of vocational because we offer doctoral degree in Polytechnic, but not now. Now it's only until master degree in Polytechnic education. There are several Polytechnic offer the master degrees in Indonesia. Now I would like to introduce my country. Indonesia is a big country with the population more than 250 million and 17 islands, and various of ethnic, more than 1,000 ethnic in Indonesia. So I would like to the number of higher education institutes in Indonesia is approximately 4,500 higher education, consists of 8% government or public university, public higher education, and 82% is private higher education, and 235 polytechnic, and only 44 polytechnic is state polytechnic, spread out Indonesia from west to east. We established polytechnics in 1973, piloting polytechnic in Bandung and Solo, with just only in manufacturing and civil engineering. Then in 2005, we established by our budget 11 polytechnic, and now become 44 polytechnic operated by government. The first concept of polytechnic education in Indonesia is like this. The polytechnic graduate should be an implementer from research and design, become production process and production control. Now, what is qualification framework, and what is benefit of qualification, national qualification framework? Here I illustrated qualification framework is a measuring instrument. It's like measuring instrument to measure the length, to measure the weight. What we measure here is the human resources. Qualification framework is instrument for development and classification qualification according to set of criteria for level of learning achievement or learning outcome. Pathway for career development, learning outcome acquired by every learner has to be considered equivalent regardless of how, when, and where the learning has occurred. It can be through education, it can be vocational professional certification, it can be individual experience, it can be also occupational pathway. We know that one of our ministry, which is Susi Pujastuti, is our minister for fisheries and marine. He got the award of Marine Award. He created only for primary education, and now he got the doctoral honoris causa from one university in Indonesia. This is what I say, pathway of career can be achieved through various of ways. What we did in Indonesia with this qualification framework. Qualification framework to become an instrument to put in order of the various qualifications based on learning outcome. Sometimes in a university, the study program is qualified as bachelor, but in other university, they be qualified as master degree. Why? Because we don't have an instrument to measure what is the learning outcome of this qualification. Therefore, we redesign, reorganize the learning outcome of all study program, similar study program in Indonesia. It will be expected to become the picture like in the right side. Now it's in, I think this is the story of NKF in the world. Benefit of establishing NKF is provide common template of learning outcome, makes learning outcome based academic recognition, better system-wide coordination, help achieve balance between institutional autonomy, provide umbrella framework for quality assurance, make all type of learning formal, non-formal, and informally comparable, recognizable, and transferable. This is important. Now we develop also recognition of prior learning. We implement since this year. Now I would like to show also what is the position of Indonesia in the Global Competitiveness Index. We see Indonesia is in the 63, is lower than our neighbor in ASEAN, Malaysia, Philippines. Even in the overall index is 41. But you can see the Brunei Darussalam is lower. Where is in Bangladesh? Bangladesh is in the rank of 187 of the total 138. But don't worry, because many consultants from Bangladesh work in Indonesia to develop higher education in Indonesia. One of them is Dr. Fahlan. Now
What is the basis of this ranking? What is the basis of this ranking? How do you conclude?
This is a polytechnic. This is the World Polytechnic Indonesia. Therefore, I would like to.
Previous slide.
Oh, the previous slide.
This is the rank.
What is the source of
This is the Global Competitiveness Index based on World Economic Forum. You can see in the Global Competitiveness Index in the World Economic Forum. One of this dimension is higher education and training. The source of this is from the Global Competitiveness Index 2015 and 2016. Now let us talk about my research. Now what I have to show with you is how to measure the achievement of the graduates in accordance with Indonesian qualification framework, and also how to distinguish between academic-oriented higher education and vocational-oriented higher education. I choose two polytechnic for a sample. Both polytechnic is a small polytechnic built by the Swiss government with the specific skill in manufacturing, where the teacher also trained in Switzerland, and also this polytechnic is equipped with sophisticated equipment. And the second one, polytechnic is a big polytechnic with many study programs built by the government and assisted also by Swiss government, Swiss expert. But the teacher come from many graduates. Sometimes also come from the university, fresh graduates, they come to this polytechnic. Therefore, I would like to know how to how to distinguish between these two polytechnics. Result of my research show that quality of learning in Polban is the second polytechnic built by the government, positively and significantly improved by a professional lecturer. And the other side, in Polman, quality of learning in Polman positively and significantly improved by learning facilities. What does this mean? Learning process in Polman is more professionally oriented than in formal. Why? Yeah, because let me see. What I have here. You see, the learning outcome in format positively significantly influenced by learning facilities. What does it mean? The graduate believe that graduate competence built by experience in practical activities. And the other side, the graduate believe that graduate competence built by the professionalism of the teacher. It is theory. This is the difference between vocational education and academic orientation. We know that the vocational education based on practice, doing, experience, and imitation, observation, and also learn procedural knowledge, not conceptual knowledge. In other side, academic stream based on theory, reason, and also textbook in the classroom. The second lesson is the level of graduate competence. Level of graduate competence of the diploma 3, 4, 1 and 4 month is almost achieved the short cycle in the descriptor or equivalent to level 5 of Indonesian qualification framework. This is my hope I want to show to you. This is all end of my speech. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmad Rifandi, for your very resourceful presentation. In times we are sorry that we couldn't give you enough time. We want to learn from Idrisha, of course. Now, I think we have completed the presentation. Now I will request Dr. Mustafizur Rahman. Excuse me, sorry. If you have any question, could you please ask one by one? We will gather all the questions first. I think one question from one person. Then our resource persons will answer this question. Please. Yeah, question please.
I have a
No? Okay.
Any question?
And no question, I think because of prayer, they want to talk to us. But the presentation was very much clear, I think, yeah, very much clear. So thank you for asking no questions. Now I have request to Chairman BTEB.
Thank you the dignitaries and the participants from the abroad and from Bangladesh. Actually, we are running out of time, and we have started our deliberation from 12:30 or 11:30 possibly 11:30. So actually, there are 4 presenters. They have presented their papers. Actually, the main focus was quality assurance thing like this. how we can assure our quality of the graduates, the learning institutions or the Tibetan institutions, something like this. So from the discussion, we got sufficient information how we can maintain the quality and how we can assure the quality in Tibetan institutions. We can think something differently as well. Is TVT and skills can be separated? Sometimes efforts are taken something like this. The skills should be separated and TVT should be separated. I think skills is the need of the day. The graduates should be skills specific, should have specific skills. But I think only the psychomotor skill is not enough. Definitely psychomotor skills, in addition to cognitive and as well as effective domain is also needed. So we call it soft skill and as well as the practical skills, something like this. And another thing I think we have to keep in mind or that mutual recognition of certificates. Mutual recognition of certificates within the country and as well as outside the country. Say the certificate offered by the Bangladesh Technical Education Board, is it other graduates for migration and other works. And we like to establish linkages with accrediting body around the Bangladesh for better, switching of our graduates and to make them to enter into the job market. So I'd like to thank every delegates that you have given your time, and I hope that you have enjoyed the delivery. Thank you very much. Hope to meet you again. Thank you.
Now our honorable chairman, Bangladesh Technical Education Board, Dr. Mustafizur Rahman, will present a gift to Professor Dr. Ali Asghar